Jess on his right. Hey, hold up. Don't start a fight. He's got you covered with all the sports. Don't fret, he's wearing shorts. It's time for Waking Jake in the morning. Waking Jake at night. Jake sucks.
Woo! What is going on, Bakers? Good morning. Happy Monday, February 21st in the year 2022. Myself, Jake Storielli, Big Baby David, coming live to you from the DraftKings studios in Manhattan. I say that now because, I'm getting recruited by Brooklyn. Went around Brooklyn this weekend. They're trying to get some Papi Gordo going. Wow. Interesting weekend. I mean, it started out weirdly warm, then it got very cold, kind of in a sports hole of the year. But weekend after the Super Bowl, NBA All-Star Weekend, which is a fascinating weekend in the sports world because you get some high highs and some low lows. Shout out to BBD's Obadiah Toppin.
Oh, yeah.
So that's huge. And there's a lot going on. The Olympics wrapped up. Watched a little golf, so I like that. College basketball sneaks more and more towards March Madness after the All-Star Weekend. So I think we're going to get into it. I think there's going to be little basketball, little baseball. Talk about Steph Curry a little bit, because that's always a good time. And the baseball, man. We're meeting every day this week, right?
Allegedly.
Right. We're meeting every day until we're not meeting
See how
every
Monday
day.
goes. And
God.
in theory, they're like 7 days or something from that deadline.
So what was the MLB's deadline?
I think MLB said, I don't know, they basically agreed that like February and we can start opening day on time. So I think the players have said they would need a fifth week, but I'm sure if they got it agreed to March 2nd, they'll figure it out.
So MLB put out a February 28th as their fake deadline.
I would assume, I think the players probably said like the 24th or something, like a few days earlier.
And I mean, if like it's one of those things, are we being honest about it or are we not? Because I think they've got 2 weeks or so to really figure it out. If you can get guys in there like that first week of March, you figure it out. Guys will be healthy enough. The first week of baseball is going to be sloppy. A lot of pitchers throwing 3 innings and stuff. Yeah. But
most years, these days, it feels like we do that the first time or two through the rotation anyway.
Yeah, I do. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We also have Talking Baseball coming up after this. Comments of the day, bro of the night, maybe a bruh. BBD, do you know the soccer thing? The U.S. women's soccer own goal story. Do you know that yet?
I would love to learn more about
God.
it.
I mean, we might have to save that because it's a little low-key sad. New Ashland video. BBD, I'm going to start with Steph Curry. I saw someone in the chat, might have been Fayao, mentioned my love affair with Steph Curry. I tweeted out a little bit last night. Man, the All-Star game is in Cleveland, Ohio. LeBron's Cleveland. How often have we heard him talk about his affinity for Cleveland? And we got quotes this weekend like he might end up there. Everyone blowing up the LeBron quotes. Potentially not ruling out Cleveland and saying he wanted to play with his son, which LeBron's been like pretty adamant about that.
Yeah, it just became, everyone's speculation became for official.
I guess it got multiplied by
like he like said a real quote about it.
There's a real quote and the Lakers like fully sucking again.
Yeah.
I think that has everyone on notice. And yeah, Steven, good point in the chat. Happy President's Day to everyone. Enjoy it. Enjoy it the best you can. All-Star Weekend. I didn't watch the three-point contest, but I heard that was decent. BBD's JOMBOY Media's Karl Anthony Towns, fan of what we're doing.
Forgot about that.
Big fella. He gets that title. Dunk contest, bad. Shaq meme circling the internet. People posting old clips of better dunk contests. Yeah, I don't think the NBA has a solution. It sucks because in the All-Star game, like Ja Morant threw a couple down that were badass. Like, you get to see a couple really cool dunks, but...
There are a lot of tweets about, like, Morant's missed dunks are better than anything we saw last night.
Yeah, so that's tough for the NBA. I will say this, and apparently it was Chris Paul's idea. The end of the NBA All-Star Game is pretty cool because they now do the format where you just need 24 points for Kobe, obviously. 24 points from where the team that is winning is. So if you were down 2, you would need 26 points. I believe that math is right. And it sounds super complicated. It's honestly genius because we've convinced the best players in the world to try a little bit. I mean, we're not talking team defense and strategies, but we're talking it gets competitive.
Contest a shot.
Guys are loose. I think I would love to know the true NBA All-Star dynamics because they kept talking about it on the... Was I watching TNT or TBS? Which one's Chuck and Shaq? It's TBS?
TBS.
Or is that TNT?
One. Yes. TBS. For this game.
They kept egging on the players and saying, like, so you're going for the MVP trophy? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. The NBA, and there's a lot of entertainment behind it, but, you know, LeBron in Cleveland wants that MVP trophy. Steph Curry. Everyone was bringing up how he was born in Ohio. Everyone was really into that. Wants the MVP trophy. Giannis. Giannis is this weird, forgotten, beautiful superstar sometimes. He won the MVP trophy. Joel Embiid, man. You hear people in NBA circles talk about Joel Embiid, and I wish I watched him night in, night out. I think you'd really appreciate it more. Because Giannis, you see it a couple times, and you're like, whoa. That dude is built differently, moves differently. You instantly get it. Embiid is a beautiful classic painting where there's post moves. He makes his shots. He makes passes. He plays defense. He's powerful and athletic. That has him in line to be one of the top MVP favorites this year. And there was a funny moment in the fourth quarter where they're dueling Dylans, me and Zach's band. They're going back and forth, but one team had LeBron, Steph, and Giannis. Team LeBron. Undefeated in All-Star games, by the way. The other side of the court, it was like Embiid, and then it was like Zach LaVine, LaMelo Ball was out there for the finale. Steph Curry. Let me start with LeBron. LeBron, Ohio. Well, Jim's in here. What's he thinking about? Looking for your phone? If we see it, I'll let you know.
Text you if I see
If anyone sees Jimmy's phone, please let us know. LeBron. The Lakers season is pretty much dead in the water. Anthony Davis got hurt again. They're checking in on him in 4 weeks. They're already in the bottom of the standings, and their team kind of stinks.
They went like all in on that Russ acquisition, and it's not working.
Russ, the shooting has become an internet meme. The rest of the roster is old. Charles Barkley was making some of his better jokes during the broadcast, talking about how he's like, where's Rob Pelinka? Rob Pelinka put together this roster of old guys and thought it would work. And he was saying that to Draymond during the All-Star game, which is funny because, I don't know, Draymond still plays against him and stuff. You know, the quotes this weekend. he's not ruling out a return to Cleveland. He wants to play with his son. It's nuts how good LeBron is. He passed the all-time points total recently, right?
Like combined regular season and playoffs.
Which is like...
He scored more points.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
That should be the mark, but...
I guess he's played a lot more playoff games than guys in past years, so that's your quote-unquote caveat. But, hey, LeBron James really won the MVP. If you watched the All-Star game, guys are messing around, getting shots up. The first 2 quarters are nothing. Right, I'd say midway quarter 3, LeBron and Giannis were the first 2 players to turn it on. Steph Curry was getting his shots up because he kept making them because Steph Curry is insane. And here he is. What do we think they list Steph Curry's weight at these days?
Oh.
200?
I'd probably hit the under on that, but maybe not.
They have him,
how tall like every NBA player is.
They have him listed 6'2", $185, which is kind of fair. I thought they'd beef him up a little more than that. It's unreal. I tweeted out last night. I don't think there's been another single athlete that has given me more freak out alone on my couch moments than Steph Curry. The way he plays basketball is kind of like, I don't want to say a realistic dream, but it's like, I think anyone that's played basketball wishes they could do that for a day. Like it's almost like if you said, could I be Giannis for a day or could I be Steph Curry? I think it's Steph Curry in a league that traditionally has been all about like high flying and, incredible elite worldwide athleticism and how cool would it be to dunk and all of that. With Steph Curry, this kind of, he came into the league so skinny. He's still crazy humble. Everyone knows the story at this point. He took over last night, and he was just raining threes from every part of the arena, and he made it his all-star game. He took it from LeBron, from Giannis, from Embiid, and at the end of the day, he's there holding the new Kobe Bryant all-star game MVP trophy. First time it's been out there. And he's got this little sheepish, kind of shit-eating grin, but hiding it of like, just knowing that the same thing has played out that has played out so many times before. Like, we don't expect it for whatever reason. Like, we almost blindfold ourselves each time. And then here he is, taking it out from LeBron in Cleveland. Like, that's kind of LeBron's whole thing. Like, he was there with his boys from St. Vincent St. Mary's. If you didn't see that picture going around, kind of cool. If you ever watched that old, the documentary that went on with those guys. He's unreal. The shooting is, it's not even a video game. It's kind of like, if you played the video game, you'd be like, this isn't cool. I don't like this.
It's too much.
This is ridiculous. It's something we've never seen before. Never seen anything on that level. And he's one of the best basketball players ever. And then the thought in my head just turns to, if I'm LeBron, I legitimately hate Steph Curry. Like, think about it. LeBron, he was next. And he was, and he still is. They do the NBA 75, top 75 players or whatever. They roll all those people out. And by the way, saving MJ for last, I mean, just electric. just electric. And it's this weird, like, I like LeBron. I've never been a LeBron stan. I've got a little bit of the old school MJ guy in me. I think it's a little bit of a generational thing. That's fine. It's no qualms with LeBron. I've said on here many times, compare LeBron to Magic. I think that's the better one for me. Look at the applause Michael Jordan got last night. Reminder, in Cleveland, Ohio. Steph Curry gets the MVP award. Like, I don't know, man. LeBron is, if you argue he's the best to ever do it, you got a lot of good talking points. He's a monster. The most points thing we just talked about, and that's not his best asset.
Yeah.
You know, like LeBron's never been scorer. That's kind of the whole argument about comparing him to like Magic Johnson instead of Michael Jordan. And he's still doing it in a dominant fashion. That being said, if Steph Curry never came along, which he was injured at the start of his career, he got a lot of leash on some Warriors teams that were still figuring it out. Like, I think LeBron would still be on a different tier. Like, when we go through the annals of basketball history, Steph Curry has an argument to be in an all-time starting five. Similarly to LeBron, like, what Steph Curry has done, even comparing, if you compare MJ to Kobe, and you want to live in that world, knock yourselves out. If you want to compare Magic Johnson to LeBron, knock yourself out. Go for it. Steph Curry doesn't have one. Like, there's some modern players that do Curry things. The real Wake and Jake people will know I've said on this show before, like, how far is Damian Lillard from Steph Curry? I think in my head it's gotten a little further. Because Dame's got range. Dame's nasty. Steph Curry has a Steph Curry factor that literally can't be labeled. There's no other comparison. The dribbling is ridiculous. The passing's pretty ridiculous. But that shooting, there's no comparison. There's no comparison. He shoots from wherever he wants. Like fadeaway stuff, pull-up stuff, catch and shoot. You know, he's on the biggest, I shouldn't say the biggest stage. The biggest stage would be the NBA championship. But All-Star Game, putting on a show with a league of stars, a league that's built on stars. 16 of 27 from three. And that was, I think he missed his last 4 or 5 because he was trying to get the All-Star Game record. 50 points. And I don't know. I think if I was LeBron, I would hate Steph Curry. Because, man, he's not everything. LeBron is a physical specimen like we've never seen before, really. I've said this before. You see LeBron next to an NBA center, and they're the same size. And then you remember he moves like a point guard, passes like a point guard, shoots it decently.
Depends on the year.
He's as imposing of a force as we've seen almost in any sport. Steph Curry, like I just said, listed 185. Could be under that. Definitely was as a young player. It's this weird thing, and he does it with this quiet confidence while also being humble and doing it like no one's ever done it before that. I will drive it home whenever I can. Enjoy Steph Curry and enjoy the last couple minutes of the All-Star Game, because the rest of it, yeah, it's not great. The halftime thing was so long. I had a genuine, like, not trying to be funny, not trying to give anyone the worst day of their life. When the basketball came back after halftime of the All-Star game, I was like a little shocked. I was like, oh, that's right. We're doing more of this. I mean, because they had all the stars out there, and even some of the guys that were in the game were out there for that. So, I mean, it was a little jarring. But the final minutes of the NBA All-Star game are a big win. Seems like anything Steph Curry does is a win. And I did want to give Joel Embiid a little shout-out because while they were battling, he was going for it with the other team, clearly kind of outgunned. And he had a measly, again, stats really don't matter in this game, but he did have 36 points and 10 rebounds, 5 of 8 from 3, 14 of 20 from the field. If you took Steph Curry out of this, like Joel Embiid was a show, but Steph Curry, always. BBD, where are you at with All-Star Weekend?
And Steph's awesome. Obviously, you know, it's easy to love him because a lot of people can sort of see themselves in it. He's still 6'2", so that is tall, or listed that way. But in the scheme of the NBA, he's a littler guy who, like, he is very gifted physically, but it's not as apparent watching him. So, like, all the kids, you see a short guy running around, it's like, oh, you got really good at shooting and dribbling and passing. And he's also the best shooter ever. Being the best shooter ever is less, you can model yourself after that because that's unrealistic expectations. But, you know, a lot of kids growing up have now watched that for close to a decade and seen, oh, like, you can do that. And, like, you don't have to just be tall.
Yeah, and I mentioned it briefly. The NBA, so Bill Simmons tweeted it out. I retweeted it. And it was Shaq talking about how the NBA connects really well from generation to generation. Sure, there's trash talk. There's always going to be. It's sports. And, you know, athletically and as science develops, like, we're getting more gifted and more talented and talented.
People can maximize. And
football and baseball, they walk all over each other. You know, whether it's Adam Ottavino talking about how much he'd strike out Babe Ruth, or, you know, we're talking calling guys plumbers, or here at JOMBOY Media, pool guys, going back in baseball history. Basketball, there is a respect for the guys who have done it. They talked about it. Go listen to Shaq talk about it because he obviously can discuss it better than me. The NBA has this strong fraternity vibe to it. And, like, I guess the part about Steph is, like, he wasn't kind of supposed to be invited to the fraternity. And, you know, there's a lot of guys. So let's actually think about this. All-Star game in Cleveland. Do we think Andrew Wiggins was going to go and try to take All-Star game MVP away from LeBron? I'm going to say no. Tatum, not really. If Tatum had, like, lit it up early, you know, Tatum is pretty well beloved in the league. But I'm still going to say no there. Embiid, kinda.
He'd have liked to. Yeah.
Trae Young, like, a little bit. Trae Young has enough threes or something. Like, for a minute there, him and Steph Curry were going back-to-back shots because Trae Young is kind of the Steph Curry light as of right now.
He's the closest thing we've gotten to the next Steph.
And it obviously doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same. So no. Ja Morant, no. Love Ja, but, you know, he's putting in his time as a youth. Chris Middleton, no. Rudy, no. Cat, no. DeJounte Murray, no. I love LaMelo Ball, who, by the way, he took 11 shots. So good for the kid. And as they were talking about on the broadcast, he's going to be an absolute all-star game exhibitionist. Kenny the Jet Smith was saying that every game with him is kind of an all-star game, and I kind of like that because it is, and it's entertaining as hell. Zach LaVine wasn't going to try to take away LeBron's All-Star MVP. Devin Booker, he could have. Again, you kind of put him and Trae Young in a, if they had made their first however many
got
shots,
hot early,
they
they'd
were on
have-
fire, like you would have allowed them to become a conversation in the All-Star game. That being said, like the only person that really stands out is Embiid. Like Embiid is going to come in, do his thing. He's Joel Embiid. He thinks he's one of, if not the best players in the world, having an MVP season.
Yeah, especially the way the rosters shook out with the draft and stuff. He's so clearly the best player on his team.
He's
right
like the
now.
guy over there.
KD out and all that. Like he was gonna have to take over the game a bit if he cared about his team winning.
Giannis, mentioned him briefly, casual 15 for 21 with 30 points and 12 boards. He wanted the MVP, and he has a right to do so. He's just won the NBA title, MVPs, like all world, all time, yes. LeBron, conversations built around him. DeRozan, no. DeRozan's not going to go and try to take an MVP, All-Star Game MVP from LeBron. Jokic, no, not really, although he kind of could.
Well, did you see the quote?
His quote was fantastic. It was I don't really know, what was it? I don't really know what to do in All-Star games.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be all like long threes and crazy dunks. He does neither of those things.
Right. And he was laughing, and people were also like, well, he had 10 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists, so he still finds a way to
doing his thing.
To be pretty good. But yeah, All-Star game environment, not necessarily for him. Steph Curry, whole conversation's built around that. Jimmy Butler was chilling, not there to play. Would be interesting if he was like pissed off in the hometown team. Two hometown guys on this, Garland and Allen, too young to get in the mix there. Chris Paul literally out 6 to 8 weeks, but came in for 2 minutes. Just a little weird, Chris. Just a little weird. You got to understand from the fan perspective.
Gotta understand why people think it's weird.
People aren't going to like that. Fred VanVleet, no. Luka, I thought Luka was going to get more involved in this. Again, we're kind of on a Luka hangover. Luka was really supposed to be next, and Dallas kind of sucked, and now they traded Porzingis, and Luka's still really good, but like...
They're in a weird tweener spot.
Yeah, it's just Luka has kind of come down a little bit. And I don't think it's anything necessarily performance-wise. It's just we've seen it. It's still the Luka show.
Yeah, still, he turns 23 in a week.
Like if this was in Dallas, there would have been a chance for this to be like a Luka weekend. Like he does 3-point contest. You know, he probably would have started the All-Star game. So all of that being said, Joel Embiid, Giannis, and Steph Curry are the 3 guys that really would have came for LeBron. And Steph Curry came out and he did it. 50 points. Again, all time really means nothing. If LeBron James is trying to do something and he kind of gets beat at it, I think that means something. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. And yeah, I think some people in the chat maybe not fully understanding like what it means in the NBA to go for the MVP. There's a pecking order. It's like taking the game seriously and stuff like that as well. Just enjoy, man. And I'm excited to kind of tune in for the rest of this NBA season the best I can. Especially if baseball keeps being bug eaters.
Like this weekend, it felt like there was extra no sports happening, even with All-Star Weekend and stuff, which I usually get pretty locked into.
Yeah.
But typically we were in spring training, headlines, season, even if we're not to games yet. Like it just felt extra, like not much going on. So it was a weird weekend for that.
Ed Strudis in the chat. Embiid looked like a guy on stilts out there for some reason. How about that?
I mean, Embiid is like a perennial top 5 MVP guy right now anyway, but like he's a guy. It's like if he played 25 years ago, he's like the best player in the NBA.
Yeah, like it wouldn't.
He does all that shit too, and he just can kick out for threes real
like
easily.
Him and Giannis, kind of.
They like wouldn't let him mess around with threes as much, I guess, which would have taken away some of the specialness. But like he does everything.
So in the NBA spectrum, right now, just zooming in for kind of what you need to know the second half. Harden and the Sixers. They're supposedly supposed to play their next game. We'll see. They teed that up a little bit. I think that's Friday night.
True.
We'll see. There's a weird Harden and Embiid should be beautiful. We'll see what it looks like. It could also get ISO heavy and soft. I think going from Ben Simmons to James Harden on offense, that's just not a team you're going to want to play. On the other side of that, the Brooklyn Nets experiment is kind of yet to take off, although they've been awful. 2-8 in their last 10. They're the current 8 seed. Milwaukee's lurking, middle of the pack. The Cavaliers have been a ton of fun. Nobody knows what to do with them. And you're tied for first place in the East, the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls. East.
2010 standings all over again.
Yeah, East feels pretty bizarre right now. And it kind of should. Interested to see how things unfold the rest of the way. In the West, the Memphis Grizzlies have been kind of the fun team out there. Ja Morant is a superstar. He's awesome. The Grindhouse in Memphis, they're back to it. They are third with the Suns and Warriors ahead of them. The Phoenix Suns deserve so much more respect for what they do. I mean, Devin Booker, Cal Bridges is really good. DeAndre Ayton is good.
In the finals last year.
Yeah, and they're just running it back. Their best record easily, 48-10. That's a dominant NBA team. Golden State, they got Clay back recently. Wiseman, like, it's gonna be fun to see where this all ends up. As the Lakers sit in the 9th seed. Sheesh.
I mean, Portland 10 seed. They're terrible.
Sheesh.
But then which team behind them?
And then, yeah, I mean, Nuggets are still kind of the Nuggets. Mavericks and Luka are good, but still the 5th seed. Jazz are the Jazz.
Such a Jazz head.
They've been the Jazz for a little bit. So, yeah, where is Zion? Excited to see how the rest of the NBA regular season goes because a few of these teams are really going to ramp up. Golden State, as Clay continues to come back, and Wiseman, we'll find out what's going on with Heat, Bulls. Victor Oladipo should be coming back for the Heat. If there's a name you haven't heard in a little while.
Like, is he good?
He was like a young star of the game, and he's been missing for a while. I don't know. Excited. I know there's a lot of baseball people here. This company was kind of built on baseball, B-O-B. And baseball, we are going to find out a lot in the next couple weeks. It's probably going to be weird, obnoxious, kind of boring updates. It's not the updates you want. I think it's going to be basketball for a little bit. College hoops as they eke towards March Madness. Watched a little bit of that. Gambled on a little bit of that. How about Juwan Howard? Throwing some fisticuffs. So, if you're a sports person like me, which a lot of you are, I think we're going to be dipping our toe further and further into the basketball landscape. Hopefully building up for a fun March Madness. Which then will kind of lead us into NBA playoffs. So that's exciting. NHL, kind of tried. When I say kind of tried, placed a couple bets. Kind of not proud of it, though. Like, there was no hunches. I just saw numbers and wanted to place like a $20 bet, so I did it. Times are good. And NFL, I mean, they're going to reset until the draft, essentially. Some combine and stuff. But, yeah, we are entering a sports kind of hole. I see energy in the chat. College baseball in full swing. Do like that. I mean, I'll be honest. It's going to be hard to fully sink my teeth into it because it's a lot of knowing the players and the storylines and stuff. Like, I got a guy on the CCSU baseball team, alumni, Flex, who was like, you guys need to get in there. I'll probably watch a couple of those games. I got some heartstrings on it. I'll flip to something if it's there. But something we're good here at JOMBOY Media is making it, telling the story about the players, whether it's a minor league guy getting his shot or it's a guy that runs a silly social media account or if it's a guy who's in a big slump that broke out or whatever it is. It's hard to fully connect to some of those college storylines. Although I know Ashland, Kelsey Wingert, I know Jamalama Ding Dong will get caught in there a little bit. It's a weird sports part of the year because you're right, BBD. We should be talking about spring training and seeing, look at this guy in this uniform. Can you believe it? I kind of can believe it. They move around. It works. We'll find out if we get any of the good stuff like that. Otherwise, we're going to be floating around. We'll be doing some topic episodes here. Did we ever do the NL thing yet?
Taking stock? Yes.
What do we like? Yeah, because we talked about how the Dodgers aren't as good as the Dodgers normally are.
Mets, they have a full team and plan to do one more big thing.
Damn. Got excited to do that again because I like
Phillies
baseball.
are in a surprisingly good spot, if I remember.
Olympics are officially over. Found that out
right?
today. Closing ceremonies.
Just weren't on my radar at all.
Yeah, the most I watched was when I was in Park City. Because that's such vacation mode. Put on something everybody can watch while you're in a mountain town.
Yeah.
Throw on some Olympics.
It's a little bit of it being the Winter Olympics, just that it's less on my radar anyway.
Yeah.
But
I agree with that a little bit.
But time zones and all that we've talked about.
Time zones.
I was at the bar with my friends, went home for the weekend or for Saturday. And me and my one friend very into the NBA and we're watching that, and my other friend just kept talking about the ski slalom thing. It's just I don't know, man, we're not watching that. So it's on the other TV. I get that it's on here. Oh, no, it was bobsledding was on because he just kept being like, yeah, I feel like you should get a heavy guy in there. It's yeah, man, I agree. As long as you can fit, a heavy guy would probably benefit you, but not what I'm watching. Yeah. And I don't know about it. So that's tough.
Do you have a double bar night weekend, BBD?
Yes and no. I didn't go nuts.
Wow.
But
to be young.
First time I went to my house since I moved out.
To be young and hung. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Different bed. Didn't like it.
Sorry.
Because I brought the bed from there to the apartment because that's mine.
Sorry about that. Jakey Golf might start leaking out a little bit more. Kind of a cool story. The Riviera, the Genesis Invitational, Riviera's famous golf course, the Genesis Tigers event, as they call it. Neiman, kid out of South America. That sounds like a full scouting report, huh? Kids out of South America. Can't even track him down. No, I just want to make sure I get it right. 23 years old. And I believe he's from Chile. Yes, okay. I just want to double check that. Golf is in a great spot. There's so many good young golfers. If you're looking to make the leap, do it. Enter a one and done league. That's how I keep track of my golf, and it's a lot of fun. I talked about it on the compound with Ian Happ and the boys, Zach and Dakota, and Tom. But yeah, it's really fun because you can kind of do an instant. You pick a golfer, and if they do well, you love them for a year. If they do bad, you hate them for a year. And that's kind of a instant solution. But yeah, man, hasn't been a ton of big-time South American golfers, and this 23-year-old just won I think his second tournament, and this is a big one. So, and I think he was out for a year because he was hurt. So if you're in the golf world, you're into that. BBD, I think we can skip forward to some bruh stuff after the comments of the day. We have order here, people. Any other sports you think we need to check off? Anything else that happened this weekend?
I think we're good. I think all the new stuff. NASCAR started. Don't care.
Oh yeah, some kid won that.
Yeah,
It's tough. I'm happy for people that like it, but it's just
that's just not one I'm ever gonna cross to. I could see a world where I like hockey.
people asking who they liked in Daytona, but it was mostly being silly. People that aren't big-time NASCAR fans got some interesting answers. Speaking of interesting answers, people, last week I asked you guys, we're up to 512 subs. Thank you. We did our quarterback rankings. Justin Pennick was in studio. We talked about some of the QB stuff. We've got a couple people in the comments recruiting us for college baseball. I understand it. I'd say I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to do my best, but I'd like to stumble into some. Nicholas Katsalis looks Greek to me. Atlanta is such a weird spot with Ryan. I'd say run it back one more year for a farewell tour. Yeah, the Talking Giants guys, Justin was here. They both think Matt Ryan's dead. I think if you put him in a good environment, I think you get a little bit of juice.
I'd rather have him than Jimmy G.
Atlanta's kind of been a black hole since the Super Bowl incident. That I think Matty might have a little juice in there. I don't know. Could very well be wrong too. There were some bad days with him. Sean Sullivan, man, you guys are lucky to get Talking Giants on. Best Giants podcast in sports. Don't disagree with that. Love Justin coming in. He's a great dude.
Love that boy.
Well, we got to mix it up with him. So that episode could listen to at any time. So if you find yourself in the sports hole, you're looking to argue something with friends, maybe crank that open. Share it. Thank you guys. And bake the algorithm. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. Leave a sports comment. Maybe something college baseball wrote me in. I know you might hear about a guy, Tommy White. Someone just sent me a TikTok video. I got to research something here. Because I think Jess just sent me the same TikTok video, which means I'm getting too far into TikTok. Wow. Okay, no, different TikTok videos. I think someone sent me a bumper sticker that says, MILF, man, I love frogs. Which is so true. I live there. BBD, let's go to bro of the night. I obviously kind of give mine to Steph Curry. As I just got romantic about him for a while, for the first 15, 20 minutes of this. I do want to share a story, and it's kind of tough, but I think it's, again, when this originally started, I wanted to be good water cooler fodder at your workplace or whoever you talk sports with. The women's national team played a game in the She Believes Cup yesterday. Not super familiar with that, but learning. Love me some U.S. women's soccer. They played New Zealand. BBD, I'm sorry to be the one that breaks this to you. The United States wins 5-0. You say, good, cool. U.S. women are great at soccer. Love that. Love that for us. The first 3 goals were own goals by New Zealand. BBD, gets worse. It was all the same girl.
Damn.
The last one's really sad. Again, I'm just here to spread sports news because I love sports. I feel awful. I think it's Michaela Moore for New Zealand, who probably getting a lot of headlines for the wrong reasons. I'll say this, if you go watch, there's a couple clips on the internet. I mean, the first one is as innocent as it gets. I mean, it's just a genuine soccer own goal. She's trying her hardest, do her best, tough break. Next ball kind of comes in, pops her in the face, goes in the back of the net. Bad feeling. I've been there. I'm one of the few people in the world that knows that feeling. I think I've told it on here before. I was at soccer camp as a youth. And actually not as a youth. I mean, it was like late high school, so depends your definition of youth. But I think I've told this. Our varsity team was playing our JV team at this soccer camp. You know, competitive. We're going to whoop you guys, blah, blah, blah. Kid lets out a shot, goes over my head into the goal. I'm bummed out because it was over my head, and I'm short. Some mental complexes there. You know, brutal. I'm like, I told myself this won't happen again. They may score more goals, but they will not put one over my head. The next shot, it's like a deflection, and it's going over my head, and it's going in the back of the net. And it was probably maybe the only time I've played sports, and I just dropped my head, and I kind of gave up, and I was sad. Now, again, this all happens quickly. This is a soccer shot, but these are all the emotions that happened. The ball went off the top post, hit me in the face, went in the back of the net. Probably the most livid I've ever been at myself in my life. I can only imagine what Michaela Moore, a much more accomplished athlete than me, was feeling. The third own goal, you see it, it's almost like the yips. She's trying to like clear the ball outside of her net and just buries it. Heart goes out to her. I think it's a bro. She's a stud. She just had a really bad day at a bad time. Man, that feel bad. Feel bad for her. You know what? Tweeted her. Let's find her Twitter and tweet some love at her, because she probably got some jokes made. She had a bad day at a bad time, and we all will. We all do. So, Steph Curry and Michaela Moore paired together again, finally. BBD?
Because I don't know the name of the other person, it'll just be a bro to Obi Toppin. Because winning dunk contest is cool, and he had a bunch of those dunks that were like cooler in slow motion than real time, which always kind of stinks, but like does make for some cool replays. Anyway, but I really intend for it to be a bruh for whoever the lady that did the interview right after was. I don't know her name, and I forgot to look into it. But just the immediate questions about this dunk contest sucking was brutal.
Yeah.
Just brutal.
Hey, went for it. Where do we stand with Obi, BBD? Genuine Nick stuff.
I mean, he's my favorite player to watch do stuff.
Okay.
And like, I really like him. He seems like a really nice kid. Hard to claim it was a great pick.
He just can't shoot.
Yeah, it seems if he ever can shoot a little, it would unlock a lot. And I really like him.
Does he play defense?
It's better than like everyone thought it would be.
Okay.
But it's not like good. They just like don't let him play minutes, which was fine when the team was a good team. And it's like, yeah, well, playing him and Randall at the same time doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But like the team's bad now, so like I don't know, let him play at least 20 minutes a night. And that's what's like kind of tough, because he's been like good. Like in that Nets game last week where they blew it. At the time they were up 25 points, and he had like 8 points in 10 minutes or something. They took him out. They blew the game anyway. So like you're up 25 points, feels like a time to let him keep going.
Yeah, let him run.
Randall's not been particularly good.
Yeah.
Their best I mean, of late he has been actually. His last 8 games or something are great numbers, but hasn't led to winning, and on the year he hasn't been good. So it's just a weird spot with Obi. Okay. And obviously Halliburton went later, and everyone kind of thought at the 8 pick they were going to go Halliburton, and they didn't, which I didn't want him, so So I'm fine with it. But in theory, yeah, bad non-pick. 'Cause he's really good. Pacers now.
Yeah, traded. Okay.
So it's just, I mean, everything with the Knicks is always weird.
It'd be cool if Obi Toppin, if he could get a little better as a basketball player and just became like an electric dunker for the next 5 years while being a solid role player,
Yeah.
that'd be a perfect little lane. Again,
That's a perfectly fine place to end up.
not what you're looking at for a top draft pick like that, but good for him. I mean, his dad was like a famous dunker and stuff, so cool family stuff there if you want to get into it.
Dunk contest was weird. He won by being the guy who completed the dunks he tried to
Yeah.
do.
Hey,
Check those boxes.
let that be a lesson to the kids. BBD, let's start wrapping it up. We'll be getting some fun episodes with friends for you guys. I just saw I think one of our best episodes ever was that foolish baseball guy when we did the all very good team draft. Maybe we should do like an all bad team good draft or something like that.
Yeah.
Guys that weren't great, guys that weren't good but were good, something like that. We'll figure that out.
Yeah. Like we amend it to like under 10 WAR or something. That one we did under 30.
The Joe's McFly up we did a while back was really good too. So a lot of that coming. Hopefully baseball at some point gives us a shot in the arm. We're going to find out in the next, I don't think the next week. I think there's a chance in the next 2 weeks we might find out something good. But
this week certainly is an important one.
We'll be talking about it a little bit.
Energy in the chat. All Nolan Reimold type guys draft. Yes.
Nolan Reimold. Wow. Not on my board, but there's a chance. Nolan Reimold. Wow. Baseball's a sick sport. All right. We'll be doing Talking Baseball in a minute. Pinstripe Strong did their 200th episode. How about that? Go check them out. Talking Giants. We just talked about Pennick, Bobby. They're rolling. They're also doing Talking Football stuff, getting ready for the draft. I'm burping a lot. JOMBOY Jake TV, maybe the best watch and playing that's ever been done. Coming out with me and Nikki Cass in a little bit. There's also one me and Nikki Cass did from last week that's also electric. He's electric. Chris Rose rotation. Trevor May is back.
Good app. Listened on the way in.
And hey, kind of farm to fame season. Catch up on college baseball. Ashland, Peter Kelsey.
Warehouse games tonight.
Warehouse games tonight. I will see you